Okay guys, I want to talk to you about Strava and cycling and fitness, capturing that data on Strava, using Strava as your accountability partner, as your social network and crowd accountability that is better than Facebook and better than pretty much anything else out there. They've been doing it longer, and you can get the free version or you can get the subscription, which the subscription is like 60 or 90 bucks a year. I'm not sure, but it's really cheap. So anyway, so I use Strava, and I've talked about this before, and I want to point out somebody, George Vargas with Rev Cycling, that I follow his channel, and I'm going to suggest you follow his channel and put the link below. I stumbled on his channel a couple months ago when I was looking at some details about the SRAM red crank set I was considering for a new build, and I haven't made that announcement yet of what I ended up with, but it wasn't SRAM, I'll tell you that right now. But I was just researching that SRAM red and considering that because of the Quarks power meter integration, I was going to get that group set get that crank for that. But anyway, and as you guys know, I use the Garmin Rally XC pedals, and I really like having the power data and using that additional information to add some, you know, contrast to my riding. I don't really use the power on mountain biking, mostly on my gravel road bikes. I say gravel road because obviously I'm on a gravel bike, but this bike I'm riding primarily road, although I do take it on some trails and just well-groomed flat trails, nothing that's gonna require any switchbacks or anything like that. If I'm gonna be in the mountains doing switchbacks, I want to be on my mountain bike. That's just how it is. And I don't mind riding my bike all the way up to Mount Wilson like I did this year on my mountain bike, even though I also did it on my gravel bike. I liked my trip up there with my mountain bike better. It was harder to get up there. It's a heavier bike, bigger tires and all, but the descent was just so much better than the descent on my gravel bike from the top of Mount Wilson. We have some really steep and rough, rocky trails here too, so that played into it. Anyway, so I don't want to get distracted too much. I want to focus on Strava. So I like Strava. I'm a big fan of Strava. I think Strava found a niche that really appealed to me and appeals to others that like to look at their data and like to share their data and like to commemorate and keep a cycling journal. As I told you on my last video, I used to just take the information off my cat eye and put it in a log. I'm going to show that log to you guys, but I did that log years and years ago. Well, I was also one of the first people to sign up to Strava years and years ago, use the free version. At that time it wasn't connected to any apps, and then it got connected to my Polar heart rate monitor watch, and I was also already using Polar to analyze my data before Strava. But I like looking at data, and I like the fact that Strava goes above and beyond, as far as I'm concerned, to make your experience of accountability with data a better one. Because that's what we're talking about here, you guys. We're talking about using that data for motivation and accountability to make you think about, have you done your workout today? Have you done your ride today? when you did your workout, when you did your ride, what was your average heart rate? What was your max heart rate? What was your distance? What was your altitude? All these factors that you could take a look at. You could even put, how did you feel after that ride or during that ride? Was it strenuous? Was it easy? Was it moderate? So having these data points gets you focused on your fitness. We're not professional athletes unless we are, and I never have been, but getting involved with your athleticism and harnessing that motivation that you can get from seeing your statistics and crunching that data is a way to keep you in your lane. It's a way to keep you focused on the objective of staying healthy, staying fit. Because at the end of the day, whether you're using Strava to be the KOM of your local climb or your local descent, and that was another topic I was mentioning on my last one, the really short Strava segments that people end up saving on Strava so they can have some random KMM from like this sign to that, to the end of this pillar right here. I mean, it's ridiculous how people make these insignificant little segments, but that's another topic. But using Strava to, it's a virtual race course. You could be, you know, not quite like Zwift or something like that. Zwift is a whole another world, but not quite like that. But you could be using it to look who rode up my local trail today and who was the fastest time today, who rode down that single track and who was the fastest down that single track today. And I think I posted something where I get KOM of the day. It's not definitely not the KOM of my local trails. I'm not that fast, but I may get the fastest that day, and that's because the faster guys took the day off. But I do love it. I do think that if you allow yourself to explore the capabilities of utilizing Strava to harness that information and to maybe follow some people or make some comments on some people, or if they make comments on you, to reply, to see, even you could do it privately and find out, okay, how did I compare this week to last week, this year to last year? You can look at all that stuff and it gives you all this additional information that years and years ago you would have to buy some software to do that for you. And I used to buy that software, and it would crunch all that data, and basically it was like an Excel spreadsheet of data to take that information and divide it up into different information bits for understanding. And Strava does that for you. It has your, how much percentage are you doing better this year with your rides and your fitness, with your heart rate, with your distance, with everything. I mean, you would have to, obviously you have to have your heart rate monitor linked up to do the heart rate stuff, and you have to have it on your bike to do the distance. But they also have, you could just have your regular workouts. And I even have indoor rowing on my Strava, where I like to go on the rowing machine, and it shows my rowing information of, you know, how fast am I rowing and stuff like that. So it's really cool, especially when you get the devices that integrate well with it. Garmin devices integrate with it 100%, and many other devices integrate with it really well too. I think obviously I know the Polar integrates perfectly because I've used that for years before I had gone on Garmin, but also the Suunto, the Coros, even the Apple Watch, it integrates with it. You could either have that data go through your Apple Watch and go to it, or you could just have the Strava app on your Apple Watch and do it directly. And I think the new Apple Watch even lets you sync up your power meter. So Apple's trying to up their game, but they got a long way to go to catch up with Polar and Garmin. I mean, Polar and Garmin are just way too far advanced for Apple. And Apple is built more around an Apple Watch. It's not really a fitness watch or sports fitness. It didn't emerge from the exercise physiology world that Polar did, and some of the other power meter stuff. They were born from the exercise physiology world and had exercise physiologists early on in the development of those devices and of the dashboards that they used with those devices. So it was much different how they evolved into where they are today, with being very easy to navigate through on your phone, on the computer, on the cloud, so on and so forth. So I'm going to get going faster. It's going to get too windy. I still haven't got the little microphone filter thing. I forget what it's called, the cattail or something. I need to get that. So I'll make another video pretty soon. Thanks for watching.